Evelyn to Philip, Thursday, May 13th, 1943, 8 p.m. Dearest, last night my mom had nothing to do, so she stayed here so Harry and I could go to the movies to see Reveille with Beverly with Ann Miller. It was good entertainment. However, I didn't get to bed till 12:30, and what wasn't so good, I'm knocked out again. Mom got the following: a small powder blue hat trimmed with black edge and huge black feathers, gray Chesterfield coat with black velvet collar, a blue print dress and a paisley print dress, and an olive green jumper, which is very becoming. Quite an outfit, don't you think? The folks thought the brunch coat skimpy on me, so I returned it, and my money was refunded. The page 2 print was gorgeous, but it was skimpily made. I intend to get a pinafore instead, and perhaps a jumper. I did some shopping and bought the following: 2 storage bags for winter clothes, camphor, tar paper, baby foods, and foods for the house. It was bright and sunny today, making the trip to Broad Street a very enjoyable one. The trees, hedges, lawns, and gardens are in full bloom, and I wish like anything that you could see all this godly loveliness. I turned the rug in our room around, so the part that originally was under the bed will get its share of use. I cleaned the windows in our room, cleaned the springs, used page 3, the hand sweeper on the mattress, washed the floor. I could go on and on, but I'm too tired. Dot called. Lakey's husband will be a sort of cripple the rest of his life. He had 2 operations on his knee, and an infection set in the bloodstream. He has to walk with a cane. Marcella's husband leaves next Monday. I wore my green skirt, white blouse, and aqua barrel sweater today with the brown flatties. I'm going to wash my hair and get to bed early this evening, for I have lots to do tomorrow. I do hope I'll see you, sweetheart. It's just about time for us to meet once again, and I'm especially anxious this time. Gosh. Page 4, how I love you. It just doesn't seem possible to love a person so very much, but here it is nevertheless. I adore you, and I even adelled you, if you know what I mean, dearest Phil. H and G are having supper at Ethel's tonight, and I doubt if Harry will write to you. He says he doesn't know how to write. What a guy. The mail deadline has been changed to 9 p.m., and I'm mighty grateful. I don't have to rush so much as before. God bless you, sweet, and keep well, for your Ev. Philip to Evelyn, Thursday, May 13th, 6:10 p.m. My sweet, still waiting around for our orders to move. This is getting on our nerves. For most of the fellows, their destination is the source of their jitters. For me, the burning question is whether or not we will be restricted when we get there. It'll break my heart if I get that close to home, only to find it impossible to get there. I expect to know the answer in a very few days now, and I pray it's the right answer. Today dawned bright and clear, but by lunchtime the skies had clouded over, and shortly after it started to drizzle. It's still drizzling. Last night, Red and I went to the Base Theater to see Human Comedy, supposed to be one of the best of the year. It might have been just that, if not. Page 2, for one great drawback. The story strikes too close to home. It captures all the poignancy and heartache of both the soldier and those he leaves at home. And while Saroyan made a heroic attempt to relieve the pent-up tears the story inspires, he fails miserably, with the consequence that the picture has exactly the reverse effect of what was intended. Instead of building morale, it demoralizes and disillusions the beholder. Especially is this true when the audience is 99% soldiers, such as it was last night. Saroyan makes a great mistake if he thinks the soldier, or even the average civilian, gives two hoots for his obviously intended, quote, happy ending, unquote. He attempts to soothe the physical and mental suffering, very real and easily appreciated, by the expedient of spiritual aggrandizement, and it leaves a very bitter taste in the mouth. Page 3, never saw an audience so deeply moved during the unfolding of the very simple plot, which was, in effect, the story of each and every family with a son in service, nor so bitterly cynical at the conclusion, which without apology and obviously for want of a more logical way out, suddenly enters the domain of the fifth dimension and allows the spirit of the son killed in battle to look in on his family, who are about to learn of his death, and then has the unmitigated gall to moralize to the extent that this is the beginning for the family, not the end, without, however, having quite enough nerve to let the audience see the faces of the mother, brother, sister, and fiancé of the, quote, happy, unquote, soldier. A thoroughly unsatisfactory and weak-kneed conclusion if I ever saw one. And everyone who saw the picture was disgusted with the hypocritical moralizing of the author, William Saroyan, supposed, page 4, to be our leading literary light. For my money, he stinks. Read for the first time, was full of tears, and so depressed by the, quote, happy ending, unquote, he felt the urge to smash something to release his bitter mortification. And from the comment of the audience, the feeling was mutual and unanimous. To sum up, a picture that should have been great because of its proximity to the social consciousness failed dismally because the author was too cowardly to face the facts. Your lengthy Tuesday letter was a joy to read, baby mine, and your indignant contention that, quote, I was home after you got that way, end quote, tickled my risibilities. I really teased you into uttering that sentence intentionally, knowing full well that you were as fully aware of the significance of that last night at the Bennis's as I. I just wanted to hear you talk about it, sweet. I get a perverse kick, page 5, out of your admission that it really did happen. Am I forgiven? Thanks a million for obliging, honey. You're so sweet. From your description, I'd say Adele is making great strides along the road of charm and sweetness that her mommy so successfully traversed. I'm inordinately curious to know how she'd greet her daddy if and when he comes home again. I'd love to see her, quote, recognize, unquote, her mommy too. It would do much to convince me that she is really, really our very own child, and I'd glory in the conviction. Evidently, Adele has spoiled you for other babies. You think them all so unattractive. It's hardly fair to them to compare them with Adele. She is so obviously exceptional. Just in the interests of fair play and unprejudiced judgment, next time you appraise Stevie Malice or some other baby, compare him with someone else's baby, not Adele. Page 6. That item about Bobby S., while surprising, is understandable. His mother was insane, if I remember correctly. Glad you got the chance to visit the Moss and your other old friends. There is something very heartwarming about looking up childhood associates. I know because I've done it and found it that way. Bet they were even happier to see you, sweet. Who wouldn't be? I would say Goldie's father really forgave her with a bang. I'm sincerely happy for that. I'll bet she is too. Do I get that letter? Glad to hear Yale is all okay, and how I envy him his situation. It's heartening to know that there are soldiers who get the breaks, even in the Army. Maybe if I'm a good kid, my turn will come someday, huh, Chippy? So you finally are showing an interest in the news, or is it just that, page 7, you are only interested in the good news? You asked my opinion on the duration of the war. I anticipated your question and answered you yesterday. My astuteness sometimes even amazes me. What do you mean, coincidence? What do you mean? What I wouldn't give to be home with my babies for the whole month you mention. I'd be the most willing guinea pig you ever saw if only I had the chance to act as such in your cooking experiments. Come to think of it, and I would. I have a few experiments of my own. Ran out of ink. I'd like to try on you, Chippy. That's not exactly right. What I meant was I'd like to continue my experiments with you, my little blank. Don't disappoint me by failing on this. And like is such a rank understatement of the extent of my desire to do some further research. I really understand and appreciate the meaning of frustrated, page 8, desire now. There is nothing so maddening. I live over and over again in my mind's eye innumerable and varied episodes of our inexpressibly wonderful life together, and I don't know which sensation is inspired to a greater degree, joy or pain. Joy in the ecstasies of well-remembered moments, or pain in the probability that it may be a long, long time before I shall know once again the glory and exaltation that only my Evie can bring to my desolate heart. I long with a very real hunger for the sight of you, the feel of you, the supremely and completely comforting knowledge that I am with you, by you, and for you, my dearly beloved and sorely needed wife and sweetheart. May God bless you and preserve all in this world that is dear to you. My love to my daughter and to my family from me, your very own Phil. P.S. Can you put up with your PFC a while yet? No T5 in sight.